Great. Okay, so I'm going to call the meeting to order. It's Wednesday, July 24th at 6 p.m. We're at the fire station for the Public Safety Commission meeting, July meeting. So welcome, everyone. I'll make a chairperson's statement. This meeting is being recorded by the Public Safety Commission. If any other persons present are doing the same, you must notify the chairperson at this time. So is there anybody on Zoom or locally recording the meeting?
Oh, no.
Okay, great.
Commissioner, all mics are live right now.
Okay, so also just so the public knows that there are mics throughout this floor space, so they could be recording you, just to let that be public. It's not up here, okay?
Yes.
All right, I'll take a roll.
Especially for me.
I'll take a roll call from the members of the commissioners. Commissioner Illinois. Here. Commissioner Burge.
Present.
Commissioner Jarvis.
Present.
And Commissioner Moscaritolo here. And Commissioner McMahon is not present. All right, just give me 1 second here, please. Okay. All right, we will move on. We will, let's see, do I have meeting minutes here? We can approve meeting minutes, it's fine. So did everybody get a copy of last month's meeting minutes? They have a chance to look at them?
I did mail them out late yesterday, but I mailed them out, but there's only three of us.
There's only three of us here that can
I just
vote
mailed
on.
them out to everybody so everybody could read them.
Okay. Can I have a recommendation to approve the minutes?
So, second.
You can't second because you weren't here.
Oh, I wasn't here, sorry. Second. I did read them.
All right, all approved?
Aye.
Aye, great. Thank you for reading. All right, so we will move on. So we're gonna move on to the public comment part of the meeting. If you are, I'll do local folks first. If you do want to speak, I'd ask you to come up to the table there and state your name and street. I don't need your address, your house address. And then you'll have 2 or 3 minutes to speak, and I'm not timing. I just want folks to respect that it's kind of close to 2 or 3 minutes, okay? And we don't make comments about what you say. So if you do want to step up, then you're more than willing to.
Okay, I'm gonna go first.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And again, just state your name and your street. That's all for the record.
I'm Armini Margosian, and it's Petty Plain Road in Greenfield.
Welcome.
Thank you. There are a few issues. We have a neighborhood group that started last fall. And we've been very concerned about some of the events that are occurring at the fairgrounds, and they've caused quite a nuisance. In the meantime, we've been trying to gather documentation of like the decibel levels of the noise. I know that I guess we've been metering from different locations, and my house has the highest decibel ratings of anywhere in the area. So I just want to say that we're really going to be approaching the city to have a noise or a sound ordinance. There were a few things that we had that we were wanting to bring forward, and one of them was the van crash at the dog park. He seemed to be one of the people that was at the van council last week. And I guess there's a lot of heavy drinking going on, and people are getting into their vehicles from that event. And you can see what occurred down at the dog park. I mean, luckily nobody was hurt. That, either a puppy or a person, wasn't physically hurt. But you can see these events are not monitored. People are just, this is supposed to be a private event. and there's like heavy drinking and hot weather. I mean, it's just crazy. The other thing is that the noise level timeframes. The event organizers had worked with City Hall, with Matt Conway, the communications director for the mayor, and with the Franklin County Ag Society president, Michael Nelson, that this music was supposed to stop at 9:30. And it was going on till, well, one night it was going, Wednesday night it went till 1 a.m. And then Thursday it was going till after 11. It didn't stop till 11:10. And I called the police at 9:45, saying that the noise is supposed to stop at 9:30 and it's still going. And I mean, it was hitting 90 decibels at my house for hours. And so they said, the dispatcher stated that they were going to send somebody over from the police department. And then by 10:30, the music is still going. So I called back the police and I asked the dispatcher, did any police officer go? And they said that somebody was already there. And I said, but the sound is it's not stopping. And so he said, she was like, well, there's somebody up there. And I said, well, I need to speak with the officer in charge. And I received a call back from Brent Griffin. He was the officer in charge on Thursday, July 11th. And he was saying to me, you know, your issue is with the licensing department. I said, I have something from the mayor's office stating that it was supposed to end at 9:30. I forwarded to him and he said to me, well, we're not going to do anything about it. And I'll send this to my supervisor. And the music still went on till 11:10. I mean, it's just so disrespectful. And when I gave like a kind of a hypothetical thing, I said, what happens if I went near the music and honked my horn to make them stop? And he said to me, we would arrest you. And I said, you'd arrest me? And he said, yes. He said, because you're making unnecessary noise. I feel like that music was unnecessary noise in a private residential neighborhood. And it's getting to be too much. I mean, these events are happening all week long, weekends, week after week, month after month. And it's going from like April to October, and it's driving me crazy. Anyway, so that's what I needed to say. And I really do not, I find the police's response to me to be so unacceptable. And I want to say just demeaning. I mean, I just find that there's, you know, I mean, you can go back and listen to his call. I had a conversation with him, but it's just not acceptable to be spoken to that way. And they're supposed to be there to protect us in the neighborhood, and they're protecting this event. And these people are getting drunk and like getting in their cars, and they need protection. I think you should be protecting the residents of our neighborhood and our well-being, because it's too much. Thank you.
Thank you for your time and your.
Thank you. Thank you.
Maybe there's some question after it.
We'll let Ellen go and then you can go.
I'll be quick.
Don't worry.
Take your time.
And thank you, by the way, for being on a commission and helping Greenfield, helping our city. Thank you so much.
Just state your name. And
Oh,
your
I'm
street so
sorry,
we have
Ellen
it for the-
Galani. I just assume you knew me. Meridian Street, pardon me.
That's okay.
I'm a little-
We know a lot of people, we have to do it.
I'm a little
for-
shy.
for
No,
the-
no.
the Documentation.
When did you get shot?
I know,
I
I'm
know,
joking.
I was gonna ask the same
I'm
question.
joking, Mr. Lanoy. I'll make you feel old and call you Mr. Lanoy with my head of gray hair. So regarding the noise, the hours, traffic, and then there's the emissions. So we have gotten ordered through the city some emissions monitors that will be installed in September, October. So that's good, because we do need data. And we have met with Michael Nelson many, many, many times, and he has tried to really be helpful. We're just finding that it's so overbooked and so congested all the time. There were like 600 people there in that small 29 acres. We had just dealt with a whole weekend of trucks and fumes. And I think our city is a little bit more environmentally conscious, and we are steering, I mean, the whole state of Massachusetts is trying to steer itself away from blowing emissions into people's neighborhoods. And our ultimate goal is to hopefully create a noise ordinance for the whole city that will help people in other parts of town too. But one question I have is, when I read the Massachusetts noise ordinance law, the first line says, police must respond. If a city does not have their own noise ordinance, police are required to respond to a call, a complaint, any time of the day or night. My obvious assumption is they're really tired of it. People have been calling for about 3 years. So my husband and I lived on Meridian Street on the corner of Petty Plain there for 28 years. And we were so happy when the fairgrounds started to get used more. We walk in the graveyard, in the cemeteries. And then it got to be, we could hear it at our house. Then it got to be lines and lines and lines of zooming traffic. The traffic has tripled. We're actually trying to get a 4-way stop because all we hear is ee, and we're waiting for the guy in the van to come into our living room. And in the newspaper, the gentleman couldn't remember where he was headed, his town in New York, but nowhere in the paper, and they probably can't. But I've been to bartender training and I've run a nonprofit. We had to abide by laws. The Brandt House had to abide by a noise ordinance. We had to shut weddings down at 10 o'clock and really, punish our guests if they were not in the house and quiet because the neighbors would go crazy. So we at this point, 3 years ago, realized it was just getting to be too much. The License and Permitting Commission have found in retrospect that they've sort of regretted some of their permissions. And so we would like to know from you, as far as a safety commission, what is our recourse? How can you help us? And how can we have a better relationship with the police who are clearly going up there and then not really being able to enforce it? So it seems like there's rules, but they're unenforceable. And then the hours of operation are often endless seeming. When you have something for 6 or 7 days, it just seems like it's forever. So we just hope that you can help us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for listening
Thank you.
in this beautiful fire department.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Really, it is. Pretty.
Welcome.
Well, I'm just basically echoing.
You have to say your name.
State your name and your street, please, just for the record. We
My
have to
name
do
is Ted.
minutes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
My name is Ted Hinman.
Thank you, Ted. Appreciate it.
I'm Armity's husband. We live at 186 Petty Plain
Thank you.
Road, so I say ditto to that. There's some of what Armity is saying I'm echoing. But there's another issue, like the horses were not able to be ran around the track that whole week when the trucks were there. And one guy was riding his horse, and then one of the truck drivers came up and was like honking and shouting and banging his truck, trying to provoke the horse. It's almost like I'm going to learn them to mess with the trucking by getting it all. I don't know, but it just sounded like aggression and bullying, and also the owners of the liquor store were saying how they made a lot of money from them buying all this booze. And then there's the accident down at the dog park, and it seems like they don't take it very seriously. What is it going to take? Is it going to take somebody being killed? Or are they still going to say, oh, well, shit happens? I don't know, but I think that the drunk driver almost crashing into the dog park and taking a lot of people's lives potentially, or the lives of a cute little puppy. That, I think, goes too far, and it just is evidence that these people can't be trusted. And in the world of people who don't worship the dollar bill, they would, over at the fairgrounds, that event would look bad. But that's just putting it from my end, because we care about people, not profits. But if I care about profits, then bring it on.
Thank you, Ted.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time. Is there anybody here in the room that would like to speak?
Ellen forgot to mention something. Is it okay if she
You
mentions one?
can mention it.
Can I add one thing?
Sure, come step up, and I won't make you say your name
I
again.
don't mind stepping up. I forgot my phone. So the third part was the weed and the kids. The Massachusetts law also says that children under 18, and I know these are considered private events, but it's a very public area. And there are kids at the weed events. There was puff and paint for Mother's Day. So everybody's in a tent smoking pot, which is fine. And kids are around. So the mass law states, if you're under 18, you need a medical marijuana card from a doctor to either get into a place to buy it, to be where it is processed, grown, or in any other way. And there's, I think we counted 13 or 14 weed events, which again, I want to reiterate, I don't have a huge problem with. A lot of the neighbors do. There are people in Pine Ridge whose kids can't have outdoor birthday parties. Parents pull in, smell the smoke, and run out. So it gets pretty heavy. We can smell it from the cemetery. So that's another issue, is where does the city of Greenfield stand on allowing children to be so close by when people are using pot and having hashish tasting and things like that? It doesn't seem appropriate for us in the neighborhood. It seems inappropriate, and there's a lot of children that live close by. So we had that. That was my third item. So I thank you for letting me double dip.
Sure. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Is there anybody online that would like to speak publicly? You have to unmute yourself. I'll ask again, anybody online that would like to speak? Okay, I'm going to close the public part of the meeting. Move on. Thank you for everybody that came and took the time to give us the information. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to move on to new business. So it's July, and we need to do a reorganization of the Public Safety Commission. I know we did this in January because we missed the time, so it hasn't been a full year. So I apologize for that, commissioners. But something we have to get through. We'll do it pretty quickly. So we'll do the chair, the vice chair, and the secretary. So I'll take any recommendations for chair at this time.
I nominate David Moscaritullo.
Second. Thank you. I won't make any comments, but I appreciate the support. Any other comments from commissioners?
Yep.
Okay, we'll take a roll call vote. Commissioner Illinois,
Yes.
Commissioner Burge,
Yes.
Commissioner Jarvis,
Yes.
and I'll abstain. I won't vote for myself. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your support. All right, any recommendations for vice chair? I recommend David Illinois.
Second.
Any comments from the? Peanut gallery? No. Any other comments from the peanut gallery? All right, we'll do a roll call vote. I vote yes, Dave Moscaratolo, Commissioner Burge,
Yes.
Commissioner Jarvis,
Yes.
Commissioner Illinois.
Abstain.
Great. All right, Secretary, I know it's a heated subject. I know we probably won't get anybody, but I'll have to do it anyway officially. Does anybody recommend anybody to be our secretary? We'll go that way. That's okay. Well, as the chair, I will make plans on how we handle that. Hint, hint, it might be one of us every month, so you'll do it every 5 months, but
You're doing it.
I'll think about it.
I'm pardon? You're doing it.
I'll do it tonight, yes.
I'm not doing it right now.
No, you're not, I'll do it. Yeah,
Well, I'll do it.
yeah, one of us will do it. No, that's fine.
I never
Yeah.
take notes during a meeting anyway.
Yeah,
I always
we
just go back.
have it recorded and we have a
Okay.
new way to capture it on Zoom too, just so everybody knows.
Right.
All right.
Team effort.
So we won't have to go down that road. All right, so that finishes our positions portion of the meeting. Thank you, commissioners. All right, I'll ask AMR to step up. You didn't send any documents this time, did you?
No.
Okay. Do you have them to send?
I can ask her to send
Can
them.
you ask,
Yeah, I
can you
will.
ask him to send them?
Yes, I will,
Okay, I
absolutely.
appreciate that. So we need to turn them into the for public record, so.
No problem.
Yeah, all right, thank you, welcome. And again, anybody that comes up, even though we all know you, I ask you to state your name for the public, for folks that are watching in Zoom land.
How you doing? I am Mark LaPrade. I'm one of the operations supervisors for AMR. Primarily down in Springfield, but I do live up here and work at Greenfield from time to time. So our updates, first, I know I spoke last month about our shift bidding or kind of reorganization. So every year we have a shift bid, so it allows the EMTs and paramedics up here in Greenfield and in Springfield to kind of pick a different shift that they feel like it. I'm actually in charge of that process, and I look at our demand lines for both operations, whether we need to add trucks in certain hours or take away from certain hours, and kind of like make the schedule more conducive to where our demand line is and call volume is. Up here in Greenfield, nothing has really changed for the demand line itself. So we still have the 2 24/7 trucks, and then we have a BLS truck that's scheduled 8A to 8P 7 days a week, and another BLS truck that's scheduled 10A to 10P Monday through Saturday. So I just posted the shift bids paperwork and everything up here with the supervisor up here as well. And for the next week, the crews will have their chance to switch their shift if they like to, whether they want to stay nights or maybe look at something more daytime. I have a feeling most of it will stay the same, but they still have that opportunity to do that. And that new schedule, even though it's not new, but if they change their shift, will start the first week after Labor Day. And then on top of that, we do have most of our new paramedics have finished the upgrade process. So once you become a paramedic, you have to do 30 paramedic level calls to be cleared to kind of work on your own with an EMT or another paramedic. So most of them have done that. And there are a few paramedics down in Springfield who actually have worked up here as EMTs. And they've actually made a desire and told me they'd like to split some of their shifts and actually work up here to cover some shifts up in Greenfield and maybe do half their schedule in Springfield and half in Greenfield. So as soon as that scheduled bidding's done, we'll be able to make those changes for them. And then hopefully some of them will be up here kind of like on a full-time, part-time basis. And that should be it. And if that's really the only updates we have, everything else is status quo, unless you guys have any questions or whether I might be able to answer, I can ship it back to Kim and Patrick.
Sure. Any questions from the commissioners? No.
Well said, thanks.
Great, well, appreciate your time.
No problem.
Yeah, just have her send that.
I will, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for everything.
No problem. You guys have a good night.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna move on to the fire department.
Good evening, Commissioners. Bob Strand, Fire Chief.
Good evening.
Pardon my appearance, but I have an appointment right after the meeting tonight, so
Pretty dapper.
it's very rare you'll see me in
Very
civilian clothes.
Very rare,
So
yes.
tonight being an exception. So welcome again to the second meeting here at the firehouse. I hope you are finding it well for your meetings. If there's
Yes.
anything that we can improve for your meetings, let us know. Especially when it comes to the technology piece. I think we tweaked it enough where I think everybody that sits at this table and everybody sits at your table is in the camera view now that we learned from the last meeting, and so that's taken care of. Just a couple updates, real busy still with, figuring out the firehouse, how it operates, and we've been here a couple months, but there's still stuff that we need to work out. We received training on the sophisticated light system within here, so when we now have full control over the lights, so that's good. So we can actually shut some of the lights off at night now. Other than that, things are going real smooth. The firefighters are very happy. There are a couple complications that we've identified now that we're operational here. One of them is the response out of here, although is not as challenging as it was getting out of 412 Main Street. We are finding that we need a little bit of help. And so we are putting together plans for the building committee to put what we call a hybrid light out on Main Street. So when you're coming up the hill, we'll activate a switch somehow and it will just flash that their fire trucks entering Main Street just to slow people down. We did a study by an engineer firm, traffic engineering firm, that did come out and said, we don't need a light. We don't qualify for a light. We have line of sight. We have all that. But should we find operational need, we could put in some type of a hybrid system. And I think we're going to do that. In conjunction with that, that will also include a preemption that will move a remote switch down to Vets Mall, which allows us to change the Main Street lights further down on Main Street rather than trying to get around that corner before you trigger the lights. So that's going to be a work in progress. And I believe the committee's going to approve that. I believe there's funding left in the project to do that. So that's a priority to get done. There is a fence that has been approved that goes on the backside of this property behind all the buildings that will be going up, just to secure the site a little bit more. And also to help with vegetation and stuff that's growing up the hill, that kind of stuff. The temporary building, I am pleased to say that the trailers are gone. So we've stopped paying rent on the trailers. The majority of the tents are down. There are, I think, just frame left of one of the tents, if not both of the tents. I haven't been there this week. Both of them were turned over to their companies, and we have some debris that's left there that we'll be working with DPW to get dumpsters and get that cleaned out. But other than that, we pretty much are done with there. The 13 Prospect Street got turned back over to the state. We thank them very much for allowing us to use that for office space. And, we're hopefully start getting back to a little normalcy in our new building. So we're very pleased about it. Our new recruit has been assigned to a shift. That is Brian McCarthy. You met him the last meeting. He's been assigned to a shift and should be qualified as a firefighter because of his extensive background, probably within the month. So with that addition, there are 2 shifts right now that are fully staffed and have been able to get our second ambulance regularly out the door. So we've seen an improvement in our response, which has been huge. So, yep. Other than that, I'll take any questions.
Issues, almost set.
Just one. Is the generator that's on that site, does that belong to the city? And if so, is it getting repurposed to somebody else?
Yeah, great question. So that's our old generator from the old firehouse, got transferred down. It's 25 years old. It is my understanding that the DPW is taking ownership of it through their central maintenance department. And they will be moving it to one of the wellhead sites.
Okay.
That's my understanding, but yes, it's going to be repurposed.
Well, good. And I hope the lights go easier than a new old phone system that we had on Main Street did. Because that was kind of a.
Yeah. So just so you know, a lot of the property, most of the physical property that was the old firehouse, whether it's furniture, desks, refrigerators, kitchen furniture, firematic support stuff, air handling system, majority of that has been repurposed and gone to other agencies within the city or within our neighbors. So for example, the Plymouth vent system, that was the air handling system that took all the bad exhaust out of the station, South County, down in Deerfield, came up and took ownership of it, and now they're going to have a system in their garage. The air filling station went to a neighboring fire department. Our old lockers went to 3 different neighboring fire departments. All the in-house stuff, whether it's chairs or desks, like my office furniture went to HR, some other went to the mayor's office. So my point being is a lot of the stuff has been repurposed. And even the metal framing that we used to attach, electrical switches within the temporary, all that framing got saved and DPW is reusing it. The plywood for the walls has been repurposed. Each one of them was taken down and now they're using it on different projects within town, rebuilding sheds and stuff like that. So we tried to recycle and repurpose most of the stuff that came off of those buildings. Stuff we put in, the stuff we couldn't. Metal was recycled at WTE, and money was put back into the general fund for it. So we tried to really be conscious of what we threw out, and there was very little. Most of it was recycled. Same.
Just where do we stand with OT? Are we looking pretty decent? I don't need exact numbers. Is it?
Great question. So you're talking this fiscal year or last fiscal year?
No, I'm just talking maybe monthly, like current.
So I am happy to report that we did balance out last year for the first time in probably multiple years.
Last year, I mean.
We turned money back in. Not a lot, but we were able to stay within budget last year, which has been huge. The additional firefighters has had an impact. We have not seen it yet in this fiscal year. So, which we always see in the summertime. June, July, and August are our most heavily hit time for vacation. And that's where we do a lot of overtime. So we have seen overtime pretty steady over the last 2 months. However, we are starting to see it slowly decline as we start getting firefighters back. We still have 2 firefighters out and injured on duty with not a return date in sight. So 2 of the shifts will still be down. We still have a 3rd shift that is waiting for a new recruit that we made a job offer, but because of some complications hasn't started yet. But we're doing okay.
And you surviving all the calls this month or?
A lot of calls.
A lot of calls this month, yeah.
A lot of calls. We last fiscal year was our busiest year for response. I seem like I say that every year. We're on pace to even blow that one out of the water if numbers stay the way that they've been through the month of July.
Thank you for the updates. Any other questions from the commissioners? Good. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, I invite dispatch. You want to do dispatch updates and then we'll go into the police department? That's okay?
Cheers for this.
Thank you, Armin.
It's okay.
Thank you.
Full straight.
So sorry.
It's okay. They're gonna be reused. You don't need to worry about it.
Straighteners, great place.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Hi.
I'm Cindy Hunter. I'm dispatch supervisor for Greenfield Police and Fire. I'd like to introduce you all to Ludmila
Hello.
Shostakova. Okay.
Nice to meet you.
She is our new full-time dispatcher. She has not yet started. She will start on Monday of next week. So I would ask her to just give a little background.
Yeah. So I'm an immigrant here in the United States. We moved here in 2001. I previously worked as a quality engineer at Next Technologies, and I'm excited to join the dispatch team on Monday. And we are very excited to have her as well.
What, that makes number
That will be number 11,
11.
including myself. Yes. So
Right.
I'll be, as we've talked in the past, the idea is to get the supervisor role off the floor.
Exactly.
And so this will definitely help that.
Mm.
So give you just a little background for July. We've been pretty busy, as the fire chief said. So far this month, we've taken 1,946 911 calls.
We've had about 3,600 business line calls. And just to go a little further, we've had about 22,000 PD and FD radio transmissions. So we've been pretty busy.
On the new radio.
Well, no. So our new radio system is actually being built as we speak. Pittsfield Communications has been at our station for the last couple of weeks doing the work on site. So they told me, I spoke to one of the gentlemen today, and he said probably next week we'll be getting online with our new system. So we're pretty excited about that. One of the things of many will allow us to do is give us access to more radio frequencies. We would be able to monitor, say, Montague Police Department, the state police, among many other agencies that we could not have before without some very complicated switching of radios. So, and it'll be all at our fingertips. So that's a good thing for us. Let's see. So unfortunately, we did lose one of the trainees that you guys had met in the last meeting, but we now have Ludmila, so we're excited again. Our per diem trainee, Madison Gorell, you also met at our last meeting. She's in her second week of training, and that's going pretty well. So we're excited about that. She's currently training on the day shift, as will Ludmila. She will also be on the day shift. Let's see. So for overtime for this month, I'm actually pretty excited to say that because of our vacation relief spot that we have filled, we have saved in June, we saved about 120 hours of overtime. And this month we've saved about 128 hours of overtime. So probably around $10,000 if you're talking about money. However, the bigger picture, we're saving a lot of stress on the dispatchers for sure. And some like the overtime, some don't. And so I think it's a good thing to dial back a little bit and just take a breather. And so I encourage them to do that. So we're very thankful to have the vacation relief spot filled. Let's see. IT is
That's a big full-time spot, right?
Yes,
It's
that is
not
a
per
full-time
diem,
spot.
right?
Yes, so basically her hours normally, or that position's hours would normally be 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. So when she's not filling in a vacation or someone's time off, she would work the first or the second half of the day shift, first half of second shift, which are the busier times. But because we've had summer vacations, people taking sick time, et cetera, she's been moving around a little bit. We do have parameters that I have to follow with her, so we have restrictions on how much we can move her around. But she's been pretty good to work with. Let's see. Our new dispatch computers are in town and they're being programmed as we speak. So thank you to Chief Dodge and Fernando from IT for coordinating the purchase of our new computers. And I would also like to say thank you to Jared from IT. He's been wonderful getting our computers programmed with all of the software that we need for them. He did not give me a time frame for that, but I don't expect it's going to be too much longer. So hopefully soon we will have those installed. Let's see. Chief Dodge advised me that our bid for our dispatch construction opens again tomorrow. So that goes back out to bid. We're hopeful this time around. I know that he worked with procurement in the town and town hall to get some changes done. So maybe make that a little more attractive, hopefully this time. I would like to mention that, as you all know, last Tuesday, we had a pretty bad storm that came through the area. I just wanted to mention that the dispatchers that were working during that time, I am extremely proud of the work that they did. To give you sort of put it into context, we took about 100 calls between 6 o'clock on Tuesday, 1 o'clock Wednesday morning. I went back a couple of Tuesdays, and on July 2nd, which was Tuesday, in the same time frame, they took 26 calls. And the following Tuesday, which was the 9th, they took 46 calls. So a huge increase.
Busy day.
And they did a great job coordinating with police department, fire department, EMS, Eversource, Comcast, DPW. So I would like to recognize dispatcher Mark Lavin, Chelsea Reynolds, Johanna Guillaude, and Yvonne Mumblow, as well as Lieutenant Jason Haskins, who also was there helping out, and of course, all the responders that were working that day. So I'm again, I'm extremely proud of them and the job that they did. So
Thank you.
And just for myself, I'm actually working with Judy Brown, who's our senior accounts clerk right now. She's teaching me about state grants and 911 money and all that good stuff. So reimbursements. And so I'm working with her on that, and hopefully once we get our trainees all trained up, that will become more of my position, will be doing that stuff, taking it off of Judy and the chief. So moving forward. I think that's it. Unless you guys have some questions.
Great updates. Any questions from commissioners?
Just one, I'd like to say, I can speak from experience that the dispatchers have always done an outstanding job during storms, and it's like a one-arm paper hanger for those folks up there,
It really is.
because I can count that we've gone on 20, 30 calls in a row and not hearing what the PD you're sending them on at the same time, and we're crossing paths throughout the city with our, going through the emergencies. So you guys have always done a great job, and you continue doing a great job. So for that, thank you
We
from
appreciate
us.
that, and I definitely will pass that along.
Please do.
I do have to say that we have fantastic chiefs. Chief Strahan in particular is always amazing when it comes to storms. He has come up to dispatch at times and helped us coordinate responses from there. And it's, and our police chief Dodge is amazing, and the staff is just is wonderful, and they work really well with us. And we appreciate that. Makes our jobs easier.
50% raise for you.
I was gonna ask about that.
Taking on more duties.
Any other?
Always uncomfortable to talk about your hands.
It is.
We have to.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Any other comments or questions?
No, I echo everything that
Yeah.
people say about
Please
this.
thank
And
them.
welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
Mila,
Welcome.
Yeah.
Mila, how do you spell your last name?
It's SHERSTYUKOVA.
I did actually ask her, we were emailing back and forth, and she signs her emails Luda. And so I said, is it okay if I call, what do you want to be called? And she said, well, my friends call me Luda. And I said, well,
All right,
hopefully we'll
we'll
get to that.
call you
Yeah, so.
Well, welcome, and
Thank you very much.
thanks for, please thank the dispatchers.
I will.
Okay, I would invite the police department. Yes, are you all coming up or just the chief?
Incrementally.
Okay. And before you speak, I do want folks to know that I reached out to both chiefs, the night of the storms, and, as usual, they're doing whatever they can to keep the people in the city protected. And I just want to thank both of you for getting back to me and giving me an update, because I know it was quite a busy night. So thank you to two of you. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks for reaching out.
Appreciate
The support. Sure. It was definitely hectic. Been there before, got through it fine.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. And all right.
So Chief Todd Dodge, introducing Lieutenant Haskins. He's going to introduce, as part of our continuing mission to bring faces to names, he's going to introduce a couple of our officers. They're not new, as you'll see, but we're just trying to get our faces out there to everybody. So.
And I know the other commissioners really appreciate you bringing them to the meeting and introducing them to not only us. Well, I think most of us know most of the folks, but mostly for the public that will be watching this over the next several weeks. So thanks for that effort.
They're working tonight. They're actually on shift, so we'll do
I
that.
really appreciate it.
Go ahead. Yes.
This is, I'm gonna let them introduce themselves a little bit, but we'll start with, this is Sergeant Justin Purrington. He's our split shift watch commander. How are we doing?
My name is Justin Purrington. Currently a sergeant assigned to the midnight shift and a 3 to 11 shift. So I do 2 midnights, 2 3 to 11, so all over the place a little bit. Been with Greenfield PD for just over 12 years now, 10 of full-time and 2 of part-time prior to that. Done a little bit of everything. I was assigned to the traffic division for a while. Then I was in the detective bureau for a little while before recently being promoted last year. So now I'm back on the road and out seeing everybody and walking, talking, and doing what I can for the public.
Really appreciate that.
Down on the end, that's Officer Nick Limoges. He came to us from Northampton PD a couple years back. He's on 3 to 11 right now, and he can
If you,
Hello, everyone. Officer Nicholas Limoges. I've been here for 3 years. I'm a field training officer here, and I'm happy to train the new hirees that we have.
Can you give us a 1-minute synopsis on what you do to train new officers? What it involves a little bit?
Okay, what we do to train new officers, we meet with our supervisor, Officer Emily Kanash Burrell. Speak to her about what's gonna happen. We got to go through a synopsis of the DORs, which is basically a report of everything that the officers do on shift. We have to go through policies, responding to certain calls, training officers how to respond with 2 units or 1 unit by yourself. Just basically a rundown of the whole station, uniform policies, stuff like that.
Questions or comments?
Thank you. Pleased to meet you both. I think you were in Cumbies when I was earlier, so I was feeling pretty safe.
Probably.
I couldn't see around us.
you buy a snack or something?
No, he was making sure everybody was okay.
Thank you for coming here.
I would find a Snickers bar, by the way.
Appreciate your time. Be safe tonight.
All right, so getting to the sheet, I was actually surprised to see, I'm assuming some of this has to do with its heavy vacation period, but in June, we actually dropped 370 calls, so we're down to 4,334 calls handled during the month of June. Even more interesting was that was 791 hours less police work. So again, it kind of goes to show you that during high vacation times, how proactive the individuals are that are on vacation. A lot of what we're seeing is proactive police work. Motor vehicle stops, which you'll see are down as well. So when full staffed, you get a lot of work. So, business district, the calls are down 44 calls to 361, although I will say that the actual enforcement down on the business district has been quality. So we've been doing a lot of things the right way in dealing with issues that we need to deal with. And like I said, the right way. So I think call volume is reducing because of our presence down there. Which will continue. We're not done yet, as you can tell. Incident reports issued, we were down 40 reports. We're not surprising considering being down that number of calls. Accidents were still up. They're up by 2 and 35. Arrest reports were up 9 to 47. So again, there's definitely still some enforcement out there. Citations were down about 90 citations. We have, as indicated, as Officer Limoges indicated, he's a field training officer. We do have 2 who just started the field training program. What he did indicate is the field training program is designed to be a 12-week training program that consists of 6 phases. We're on 4 phases. Starts out administrative stuff, orientational stuff, getting all the equipment, getting acclimated with the station and things of that nature. It moves into the introduction of police policies. There's various quizzes that can be presented along the way. And then it gets into the actual patrol procedure stuff, ultimately ending in a shadow phase, which means the individual has to do it while being watched by the shadow officer, and they have to pass. They have to do it right. So, of course, the shadow officer's there. In the event they start making mistakes, they can bail them out, so we don't incur liability. So, target is 12 weeks. The individuals that we have do have some past experiences based on them. They may be soon, maybe faster, could be slower. We don't know. We do know that the 2 hired come with a really stellar background. So we're confident it should go on the quicker side. The job is still posted for our 3rd, which will give us essentially our 2nd downtown officer. And I believe that expires in a couple days. We have received maybe a dozen applications. Still not what it used to be, but we've received about 12, I believe. Just shy of half of that, maybe even less, are individuals who will not require the academy. Great, so, yeah. But we will interview them, we will vet them, and I'm sure you guys will have options there in terms of sitting in or participating in that panel. The bid openings, as Cindy indicated, for the dispatch remodel is tomorrow. It's scheduled for tomorrow at 11. As you know, the first time nobody put a bid in. So our fingers are very much crossed. I don't know where we go after tomorrow with no station. New station. I'm good with that.
This is for the entire package? You're
This
not
is
getting a
just
response or just?
Oh, yeah. Well, there was no sub bids, meaning no HVAC or electrical bid this time. So they had to do an addendum and get that out to any would-be vendors to indicate that you're then gonna have to bring your own subcontracts.
Yeah.
So now tomorrow is actually the GC opening again. So we'll see. Main Street substation, I skipped that, as you know. I don't know if it was actually the night of our last meeting, when it got punched out. So what that did was that opened up Pandora's box for us. We found that the glass is just insufficient for what we're gonna need it. Single pane shards and smashes, and we can't have that. So central maintenance has been amazing for us. It's a great group. Joe Pugs and his guys, Ed and Tyson. They seem to drop everything they're doing to help us out. But I think they do that for every department in Greenfield. They were vital in assisting us in transforming our lockers to gender neutral lockers. I mean, on a drop of a hat. And what that consisted of is installing doors in the shower area so that they have secure changing rooms. So we're legitimately full gender neutral in our locker rooms now. And as you know, things don't move fast, but that moved fast. We just started talking about that. So we're good to go with that. And then, again, they've been great. But the substations are gonna require a lot of work. Again, Central Maintenance Director Joe Pugilist, he's really, between him and Sergeant Batinsky, are taking the bull by the horns with that. And we may end up getting different vendors or contractors involved in it. So turned into far more than we had hoped it would be. Budget, again, just started the year, as you know, we're just getting rocking and rolling on that. Co-response, like we always want to point out, co-response was extremely busy this month in comparison to previous months. There was 19 phone follow-ups. As you can see, the in-person response was 77 in-person responses in June. That was up 15. Actual evaluations was up 13 to 23. Section 12s are actually down. That's a good thing. ED diversions were 4, hospitalizations actually were up to 10. But of those 10, 9 were actually voluntary. So again, happily, no officers were injured. There was an arrest. And they initiated proactively 8 community outreach initiatives. So continues to be vital, busy, needed, and they're very well integrated with their agency. The new one that you had met, I think maybe last time?
A couple months ago.
Times ago, he's, again, blending in well and off and running, so.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great program. You think it's the weather, or just summer, or just a combination, or?
For what?
Just up, calls up? I mean.
Calls are down, I think it's vacation time, 'cause, yeah, we're, I think, you know, again, it's hard to really put a finger on it, but what we do know is we're vacations heavy. And a lot of what you see is the proactive stuff that these individuals are doing. So when we're light on shifts, you're gonna get less. The normal stuff comes as it comes, but they're doing dozens of premise checks a day, dozens of motor vehicle stops a day. So it's reflective when you have high vacation. That didn't take into account the storm, so assuming next month those rates will go back up just because of the storm, so, yeah. Any questions?
Off the hook easy.
I just have a
Off
comment.
the hook easy
Comment?
tonight.
Just a comment.
Sure.
Commissioner Lloyd.
I just wanted to, first of all, I defend the right of anybody that wants to, express their rights, to speak about things, but I was disappointed to read an article. I don't know, I missed the last meeting. There was an article sort of a little bit, not a little bit, I guess, very critical of having a substation downtown, and I'm sure you might have read it, and I was disappointed in that. I just want to say to, the folks out there and my fellow citizens that there's so much disagreement among the scholars about what causes crime rates to go up and down, but there's very little disagreement about police presence reducing potential or perceived opportunity for crime. Plenty of evidence to support that. And I drive up and down Main Street every day, and I see the covert curve effect of the police cruiser. And I think it's unfair to poo-poo the substation without taking a broader look at why police presence among citizens is something that every scholar that's ever written about good police relations gives a thumbs up to. So I don't have to say that to you guys. I'm kind of saying that publicly tonight because I don't want to go toe to toe and get into an argument with folks because everybody has a right to an opinion. My opinion as a citizen is that the presence is positive. It's positive for interaction. It's positive socially, and it's positive for public safety. And I'm thrilled about it. So thank you for putting the work in. And it's a shame the window got punched out, but we don't live in a perfect world.
Maybe it's a good thing. I do have something I can add to that downtown thing, actually, if you don't mind. If you don't mind me talking about our program. We had been approached, I'll say we.
Bell for you 2 minutes.
Someone's rude phone. As you know, Maria's been working with us on a voluntary capacity to try to get this substation thing up and running. We were approached by individuals who believed that her role on the Public Safety Commission, coupled with her role as this sort of volunteer liaison to the police, could be a conflict of interest. So I want you guys to know, you people to know, I called the Ethics Commission. And there's actually case law that surrounds almost an exact replica of this situation. And the attorney, Mike McDonald with the Ethics Commission was overwhelmingly clear. This is in no way even close to an ethics violations, which Maria was pleased to hear. So we did our due diligence in terms of reaching out. So we're good to go. It's not an issue with her on the panel, as well as the commission, as well as doing her volunteer stuff. If that turns into a situation where it's a paid thing and things are a little different, steps would likely need to be taken with the commission, but she's been integral in helping us out. I think that link, I explained this to a reporter yesterday. People clearly are going to receive us much differently than they'll receive a civilian. They know that we could potentially take their liberties away. If they make the wrong move, say the wrong thing, well, they know that the civilian can't. So we may give them information that we might not get to a point where we're unable to properly help them. I'm not talking about arrests or anything like that, but they may just close up because of who we are. So I think it's vital that we have that civilian link to the individuals. And I think I'd like to see it eventually expand. We're under the microscope right now to make this thing work. But if we can do it right and we do it successfully, I'm hoping we can expand on it with more civilians, more links to the community, and hopefully make this a little prettier downtown. Quality of life stuff enhanced. We're working with the GBA regularly. They're going to set up a meeting here soon. And we're trying to get local merchants involved, as many stakeholders as we can. I see it. I'm optimistic about it. It's a link that I don't think we will ever be able to make as police. We need civilians help. And Maria knows a lot of the individuals down there from working in the kitchen, serving food, serving meals. So it's, in my opinion, it's a perfect opportunity right now. So we look forward to it. But we need that substance. You guys got any carpentry skills? Anything?
Do I?
You got any of that going on?
Got some wood in my garage.
Any classes for building paint, insulated? No, okay.
I have a few comments. Does anybody have any before me? No. So I want to say a couple things. One, I've talked to several business owners and I'm friends with several business owners downtown. And I think they're thrilled to see the presence. I've talked to individual people that don't own businesses and they say, well, what a presence. We're noticing it. And so, you know, I think it's positive having the presence downtown. And secondly, to your point about Maria, I think Maria is awesome person. She's a great commissioner. And one of our jobs as commissioners is to build relationships up with the police and the fire departments. It doesn't mean we always defend you or always on your side. That's our job also. But it's better for us to have a strong relationship with the departments. So if we have to point something out that's not so positive, you trust us and you listen to us. And, you know, and I also agree that, you know, getting, you know, non-department people involved is really positive. And, you know, Maria fits in that grade. So I want to thank her for the volunteer time that she's putting in to the city of Greenfield. And I appreciate that. So,
My pleasure.
You're starting to get used to her in the stations.
They,
It's a work.
well, you put up with me, so
they locked me out.
It's a
of
work
all
in
these
progress.
places. They don't trust me.
they
They
put
locked
up
me
with
out.
me, so what am I? Except for the deputy, he doesn't. Anything else? All right, well, thank you for your time. We
Thanks, guys.
appreciate it. All right, moving on. We have some continued business about, we talked about complaint policy a long time ago. It's a continual thing that we'll be discussing, but Commissioner Illinois is going to educate us a little bit.
I don't know if I'm educated.
You want to sit over there or?
All I did was take a look at the charter. And we had a great discussion with both chiefs about the complexity of internals, invests. And what we sort of talked about is making sure that we comply with the charter. So I'm putting together some language that I'll bring forward the next meeting or two that takes into account the complexity of CBAs, post HR, and all the things that were raised by both chiefs very eloquently and factually. But that we also, as a public board, you know, will always hear from the public. And so if the public wants to come, members of the public came tonight. They raised an issue. I see their concerns, you see their concerns, you know, it's always about that. You know, people have valid concerns. How do we fix those things? Those weren't the kinds of things that, you know, I would not want to know. But as a commission, our charter provision is a little bit general in terms of not explaining what it means, except that invests have to be done in accordance with HR, internal policy, CBAs, not civil service now, and post. So I took it upon myself, and you guys can all get this on the portal on MPTC. All this is a training that people in public safety departments would attend, that MPTC gives on the complexity of internal affairs, investigations, Massachusetts Post, and related laws. I don't have to preach to the choir. It's, you know, this is a 50-page document that if you're sending somebody to training, MPTC is going to get, you know, this is an FBI LEADA one that was within MPTC. But I thought it would be good for the commissioners to see this And then we'll have a copy that goes back to the town per the rules. If it be the wish of the commissioners, that I draft something that satisfies our requirement to have a policy, I'm certainly willing to take a stab at that. And it'll just be consistent with the fact that I've said 2 or 3 times, we're an open public body. You can, people can come before us. But the rules in Massachusetts have changed dramatically with respect to post. The rules have not changed with respect to CBAs, which for those out there, I'm referring to collective bargaining agreements. And they're quite complex. And attorneys are dedicated almost entirely in some cases to just this kind of work. So I would like to have your permission. I don't know if it needs to be a motion, but just to draft something that satisfies what everybody keeps raising, which is what's our policy? And it's going to be consistent with the fact that when you see the complexity here, we would not be the group that would be engaging. We would certainly be hearing. We would certainly be getting a report from a chief. We would certainly be in a position to have an executive session where confidentiality comes in. But we would not be in the position per our charter to be within the investigation itself. And I think that satisfies our public duty. What this shows is the complexity is really out there. And even post, and this is anecdotal on my part, but I still work in the system and I have access to things, and I guess that post is pretty inundated, and they have to come to a place where they're able to screen because nobody's prevented from sending them anything. And so that's something at some point that they as an agency have to get their arms around. And so I guess I'm trying to be as open as I can as a member of the body, saying we are here to meet per the charter to hear the citizens. We travel around the town. We're here to hear the citizens. But we need a policy that fits reality and it fits the mandate in the charter. So it's okay with you folks. I will take a stab at doing that, and we can vet that publicly and have a discussion on it and vote it.
I don't need to have a vote for you to do that. I'm all for it. I mean, I would ask the other commissioners to comment. I think we would have to have a vote once it's drafted to take a look at it, but the other commission has comments on that plan?
No, I appreciate.
No, I think, I'm sorry, Mary, I thought you were done. No, I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea. I think we're going down the right path. I mean, the city hires intelligent, competent chiefs to handle the department.
Exactly.
And our role doesn't have to be that part of it.
Exactly.
We have a mayor, we have lawyers, we have HR, we have competent chiefs working. They have competent people underneath them in their absence to take care of any issues that come up. I've said from the get-go, we're an oversight. We're here to hear the citizens, and we're here to make sure that we feel that everything's being done right. As far as handing out punishment and stuff like that, that's what we hire those folks for, and that's what they hire lawyers for, and that's what we have an HR department for.
Right on.
So I'm on board with this. I think it's a good thing.
I agree. I think it's an important thing, and it's important for the public to understand what the charter means. I mean, 10 people might determine the charter 10 different ways. It's really important for the 5 of us, 4 of us tonight, to understand what it means. And it's important for the departments to understand what it means. So I appreciate your time and your effort.
Well, thank you. I will.
And I'll read this.
Produce a draft. You can read that. Yeah.
I think Amy.
Commissioner, can I make a comment?
Yes.
We can never get.
Hold on for 1 second. Is Amy on? I don't
think so, no.
No, wait, do you think she was on?
That's.
Oh, okay. All right. That's my wife. Yeah, she monitors me to make sure I'm doing my job. Sorry, Chief.
No, I just wanted to say that when this was first talked about a few months ago, as a chief of department, my job is to make sure that everything is in the best interest of the community and the citizens that we serve, but I also have to take care of the people that I work with. And I really appreciate, the commissioner for approaching this in an angle that takes in the concerns that we have as chiefs. Because it is complicated.
Yes.
And it's even more complicated on the PD side, but for the fire side, there are collective bargaining agreements, there are rights, there are, and I appreciate this taking into that account and working with it under that umbrella, if you will, because it is a difficult line to balance sometimes. So thank
I
you.
have a little experience in this area in the past, so if I can bring that to you guys and it's helpful to the community, happy to do that.
For me as the chair, one of the important things for bringing up this subject was, and I knew it would raise concerns for all sides, but we need to start somewhere and we need to understand all sides. So when these 5 people change next year, the year after that, the new folks that come in have something to work with instead of, individual theories or, determinations on what the charter means. So this, I think, is as important for the Public Safety Commission as it is for you folks, for us to understand it. So we appreciate your feedback too. So thank you for that, Bob. Thank you, David. Anything else you want to add? Any other comments?
We always end up with homework
I was
today.
gonna
What
say,
is with this?
well,
You
It's the
you
teacher.
can't get the teacher out of you, can you?
The teacher, no, I can't. You should see when I get home and the kids run away now. I get home. He's home. Go to your room.
All right. All right, I think that's it for us. Our next meeting is, yes.
Did you also
Please
copy
don't.
the charter?
Did I?
Yes.
Sunshine.
It's right on our webpage.
Yeah, I have a copy of it.
So.
Provide us with what's.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I didn't bring no, I didn't. I can bring that. I'll bring the section that applies to us when I do a draft of a policy.
We do his homework.
If you stay on my advisory board at the college, because we have to have a meeting in the fall.
All right,
That you drop.
so just so folks can understand the way it works a little bit. The on-off buttons are at that end of the room we're in. So when I say the meeting's finished and everybody starts talking, might be still recording, not that that's a big deal. I just want people to know that we have to get over there and shut it off. So
Did we say anything that was?
no, not that we're gonna say anything. It's just that, we want to end the meeting the correct way. That's all.
Yes, sir.
So I will, the next meeting is August, I believe, 28th. And I would ask for a motion to adjourn. Second? Everyone, aye. Great. Thank you all, folks, for attending.